you will still need people.
Yeah.
Fair. So Vedant, I want to do one thing, right? Specifically, that if we can pick up any problem statement where you mentioned, right, you use Claude mostly for brainstorming. If we pick up any sort of a problem which you want to sort of, let's say, solve for your personal use case, right? If you can
Mhm.
just show us, right, how do you go about using Claude for brainstorming in terms of the input specifically?
Okay. I have a repository that I'm working on right now. Okay. So we will redo it from scratch. We'll start a new thing and we'll build it out uh, using Claude, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. There is a tool called JJ, which is a new version control tool. I
Okay.
don't know if you're aware of, like, I don't know if you know Git. Git is the most popular version control tool today. So JJ is a new tool. It's picking up steam a lot. I personally love it. So in my own time, I'm creating a small tutorial for JJ. Okay.
Okay.
So I have a bunch of work that I've already done. We'll just go and recreate that. So what we'll do is we'll go to tutorial first. What we will do is it has right now. Okay, it has nothing. It has just a document which has somebody else has written a tutorial on Jujutsu, which I love. His name is Steve Klubnik, and I've exported that as a PDF file. And we'll start. And here, actually, let's just stick to Claude. I could have shown something else here also, but let's stick to Claude. It's easier that way. So here, I know what I want to do, right? So I know what um, and I think this is really important. I think you should spend time thinking about what it is that you want to do, right? So I want to teach a bunch of common use cases which people have to do when they have to do code review, when they have to work on a distributed versions control system, and I want to make tutorials about them, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to make a series of and I want it to be notebook style, meaning that I want people to be able to enter a repository which has been preset to a certain format, and then work within that repository and solve some sort of a puzzle which I've set up for them, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that, okay, first let's create a bunch of common use cases that I want to solve, right? So I know off the top of my mind what I want to do. I want to be able to say, people should be able to do JJ new. People should be able to push a bunch of code that they've written for code review. People should be able to incorporate the comments that somebody has left on their code. People should be able to do merging of multiple branches. I know this already, right? But I want to create this, capture it in a document. So let's do that. We are going to create a tutorial for teaching people how to use the CLI tool JJ. If you want to learn what JJ is, look at the document that I have added to the docs folder called Steve's tutorial. And the first step that I want to do is I want to create a markdown document with common use cases for JJ. I want you to brainstorm with me and walk me through the creation of these common use cases. We will use these to create a bunch of tutorials. Okay. So you can see what it is doing. It decided it's going to read the tutorial first, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. Okay, so 1.6 MB tutorial, so it's going to take some time. Okay. So it is now identifying some use cases from the tutorial itself. And this is the initial work. The interesting bit would be the brainstorming. Here, what you should note is you should note this particular thing, right? The super parse brainstorm that I did, right? So this is not the default way of using Claude Code. So Claude Code has a bunch of ways to extend it. And I'm using something called Claude Skills, which released recently, I think last week.
Yeah.
And I have moved to using that particular thing, and that's what is happening here. It's running a skill which is telling it how to do brainstorming. So it's been taught how to do brainstorming, and it's doing that. I have opened this up in a bunch of things here which we can refer to. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you this. So
Sure.
this is the repository that I am using, which has been heavily modified for my use case. So this is
Hmm.
this person's repository. It's really nice. I'll share it with you as a reference. I have modified it for my own use case and I'm using it.
Mhm.
Uh, Similarly, Anthropic is the parent company of Claude. Itself has published a skills repository. So this is a great place where people can come and see, okay, what exactly is a skill and what kind of skills can be given to your Claude code and use that. And now this is what Claude has been told. Okay, okay, this is what we are going to do. We are going to do understanding, exploration, presentation, things like that, right? And it's
Hmm.
going to walk through all of these things. So it now knows that, okay, brainstorming means I have to do all these things. So it's doing that.
This is actually very useful repo. It's like, because it has covered all the major, I'm assuming, use cases, right
Yes.
from brainstorming to.
Yeah, you can see this, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is a useful repository to take something from. I have taken the things that I want and I like, and I have modified it to use the tooling that I like, right?
Sure. Hmm.
So, okay, it said, okay, based on my analysis, here is the thing, here is the user journey, right? So user journey is initializing the repository, okay, viewing history, describing work, this is fine. Intermediate level, squash, interactive squashing, cool, this is great. Collaboration, fetching updates, pushing work, creating branches. This is great. Again, I know all of this is great because I know JJ itself, right? So not, I have not outsourced the learning to Cloud Code. I have learned JJ first and I have used it extensively. Now I am outsourcing the creation of the tutorial to Cloud Code and I'm going to do it with a tight control on it, right? So would you like me to refine any of these categories, add more use cases? Should we move forward? Right? So let's move forward. I'm okay with this. Let's move forward with the creation of the Markdown document.
I think Claude skills will actually be useful for a lot of internal teams versus the MCP part, right? And I think that I read a definition on Reddit which was pretty nice that MCP is mostly around external services, while skills will focus a lot on the internal services, which
Yes,
will
absolutely.
help with a lot of automation internally. So yeah,
Absolutely. I agree completely. I can show you an example of MCP that we can start in parallel until then.
yeah.
Uh, let's see. Okay. So PDF document, you shared a PDF document with me, right?
Mhm.
And we can try and maybe read that PDF document. So
Yeah.
I actually started doing that before the call. I wanted to see if I have prepared enough for it. So I said, look, read the PDF document shared in the WhatsApp chat, right? And summarize it for me. So it opened up my WhatsApp chat, which it can do because of an MCP server. It
Hmm.
downloaded the PDF document. It said, great, I found the chat and it's sent by these guys. And now I want to search the messages. It listed some messages. It downloaded the media. It read the copy of the PDF file and then it failed because it couldn't copy this PDF file into a place where it has the permissions to read. So I haven't given
Mm.
Claude Desktop permissions to read it. So it,
Okay.
it tried a bunch of things and it said, okay, please upload it to your desktop because I've given permission to read my desktop. Once you upload it there, I'll read it for you, right? So we can
Sure.
start this also. Uh, you have access to the item MCP. Please use that to execute the bash commands and move this file to temp. Okay. All right. Let's go back to what Cloud Code is doing while this is working.
Yeah.
Okay. So it has done these things, and what it is saying is, okay, let's scroll and see what it has written. All right. Cool. Okay. So it has given proper, like, made proper divisions and created all of these things, which is what I wanted. And it has captured the commands, which I will go through later. I will not go through these commands right now on the call, but
Yeah.
it has essentially captured a bunch of things that I want, right? And I have to go through this carefully because some of these commands might be wrong.
Hmm.
But for the purposes of this demo, let's assume they're right, and we can just go ahead and okay, let's create this. Okay, so I have some use cases now. let it write it. Until that, we can go back to this and we can see what it has done. Okay, so it's saying, okay, I'll leverage the tools. And you're absolutely right. Let me use item LCP. It's writing something to the command line. We can actually see it on the command line. This is the command line. See, it wrote it to here. And now it is here and it will run some command to try and read it. So let's see that. So this is what MCP can do. Right? So it's given, I have given it access to the terminal, I've given it access to WhatsApp, I've given it access to my browser. These are not my browser. I have given it access to a browser via an MCP called Playwright. So that browser can do internet search activity. Cool. Let this do what it's doing. We'll see what is happening here. Okay. So this thing has written this out. It has written the thing to the doc. Okay. Now what I want to do here is I want to say that brainstorm. Okay. I know what I want to do again here. I know how I'm going to create the tutorial section. So I'm going to talk about that and think through it. Okay. Help me think through the design of the tutorial that I'm building. What I'm thinking about is that I want make commands which will create checkpoints in the temp directory, and each checkpoint will be a fully fledged repository where some previous state will be generated for the user, and there will be an exercise.md file which will contain the state that the user should move into, and then the user can run a bunch of commands or do whatever they want to do to figure out if they have solved the problem, and then there will be an answer.md file which will have the actual commands that they should have run to solve the problem. Okay, and I want to add some more details here. So what I want to do is I want to write Python code in a folder called lib, and the components that I'm thinking about are that we need a checkpoint builder, we need a builder to run JJ commands and build the state of the repository, and we need a code generator for writing fast API code, because I want the examples to be in fast API so that the user has to make like minor changes to the existing code, and then they use that as a way to learn JJ commands. All right. Okay. While this is happening, we can go back here and see what's happening here. It's tried a bunch of things to try to get the text out of it. Okay, it got this text out, and still figuring this out. So sometimes this happens. You have to like maybe this will work, maybe this will not work. But like in a normal thing, I would not have been doing multiple things like I'm doing now. I would have just cut this and tried a different approach. In this demo, we'll just let this run and see what happens eventually with it. It wrote something to the terminal. We should see that it's trying to run a PDF to text command. It did an ls and sla. Now it should ideally do a PDF to text command. Yeah. It might fail somewhere because this history is really long and it might have like filled out its context. But anyways. Okay. Until then, all right, cool. It did something. Until then, what we can do is, okay, let's go and look at what Claude Code is up to. Okay. So what did it say? Right. So this is the brainstorming that it's doing. Okay. Cool. Okay. So it's saying you want Python code here, you want commands that generate checkpoints. Each checkpoint should be fully initialized. Cool. It's understood what I want. Then it's saying, okay, correct. This is what I want. Okay. This is also what I want. All right. When a user starts a checkpoint, do they copy the checkpoint to their own working directory? No. Work directly in the temp location. Cool. No. Okay. So it's asking me a question about the design. Similarly, it's asking me something else. How will user know that they have completed the exercise? Manually comparison. Okay, cool. Fast API code. Content is version controlled. Tutorial system itself. Exercise are served by API endpoints. No. Fast API code is the content being version controlled. Cool. For building the pre-state, do we need to run JJ command in sequence, manipulate file content, simulate realistic scenarios? Yes. How do users progress through checkpoints in their sequence? Okay. Cool. So we can answer this for them, right? When the user runs the command, which will be a make command, like make checkpoint one, an isolated environment should be created in a /temp/jj tutorial folder, which can be cleaned up later. We don't need to have any automatic way of confirming whether the user has solved the exercise. We leave it up to the user to try the exercise and then to check the answer.md file to see if they have solved it correctly. The fast API code is just the content that we are using for teaching the user JJ. And yeah, if there are any other questions, please ask me. So you get a sense of how this is going, right?
Yeah.
This is essentially how I'll keep working until I'm happy with what I'm getting. So, all right, let's go ahead. Cool. Okay, this will
By
do
the way,
something.
so once let's say the brainstorming part is done with the tutorial, are you
Hmm.
gonna do it like a video thing? Are you gonna do like a text thing, or how are you thinking next?
For this tutorial, it's a text thing. It's a thing for developers. They will clone the repository. They will run the tutorial.
Okay.
So that's the idea for teaching them JJ. It's a tool that they'll need to like get their hands dirty on to be able to understand. So the goal is to give them a place to do that, which is not their work project or some side project or things like that. So the point of teaching a version control system, so it's difficult to teach a version control system without something like this. Okay, this thing I think has, okay, try to do something cool. See, it ran the PDF to text command
Mm-hmm.
and did it get an output? This is doing something. Cool. It will wait for this to work. Let me see if I have covered everything that I wanted to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think mostly we have covered. I think we are at the end of the time that we had. So
Yeah.
people can look at RepoMix. It's a very nice tool to give the entire report to the LLM and to analyze it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what I do is when I have like a bunch of prompts that I use repeatedly, like the review code prompt, and I take that and I write a small tool around it. So I create my own tools, which are all LLM based tools. And these tools are meant to help me move faster, right? So now I have a tool called review code, which just works. So if I do this, let this do its work. Let's close this. So this is a tool that I have written for myself, right? And it's saying, okay, give me the PR number that you want to review, or give me the commits that you want to review,
Mm-hmm.
and give me the output file that you want to write the review to, right? So then it kind of does the same thing. So if I do, cool, I have this, right? So I have some code locally. I want to get it reviewed. Uh, this review code thing generated a diff. It ran a LLM review, which is the same prompt that I had shown you. It wrote the review down here. The next step would be to write these comments back into the PR itself, right? To leave comments on the PR saying that, okay, make this change, make that change, things like that, right? I don't do that because I want to manually read it. I don't want to leave everything up over to the LLM. But I know a bunch of people who have automated their life to that extent where they just let the agents run in the background and do their own things. So this is something that I kind of wanted to show, which is that you should automate your day-to-day workflows, make as many tools as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Final point is if you're not using Open Router, you should use Open Router, um, which is here. Let's close all of this. Okay. All right. So Open Router is a thing that people should create an account on. It gives you the way to try multiple different models and see what's happening on multiple different models via an API, right? So, like I said, I believe everybody should be experimenting with as many different models as they can to get a sense of when to use which model. I might have a list of like data that I have created somewhere. Yeah. So this is my configuration file for Aider, where I have like made a list of things. So currently I use a model called Kimi K2, right?
Okay.
Which I really like. Um, I also sometimes use a model called GPT OSS 120, which is cheap. So it's a nice model for simple things. Then there is XAI Grok Code Fast, which is not as cheap as GPT OSS 120, but still a great model, right? This model is by the Grok team. Gemini 2.5 Pro, not cheap, but absolutely fantastic when I need to think. Right. GLM is my current code generation model. When I want to do any sort of code generation, I sometimes prefer GLM 4.6. It's a really nice model. DeepSeek, classic model again. Like DeepSeek was a very good model when it came out. And now this is a new model which I haven't tried as much, so I don't talk about it much. It's a very nice model, 3.2 EXP. Right. So these are all the things that you kind of need to like get a taste for. So when would I use Claude? I would use Claude only when I don't care about the price or when I really want to do some like serious stuff. Right? Otherwise, I will not care about Claude as much. For most things, I don't use Claude. Right? Now, in this particular example, I use Claude because it would be familiar to users. But you can run Claude code without using Claude itself also, and that's something that I love doing. So I use something called synthetic.new. I might have opened somewhere. I use this service synthetic.new. Which I have discovered recently. This is like a last week discovery,
Okay.
and it does what I want, which is that I want to use Claude code, but I don't want to call out to Claude the model because Claude the model is super expensive. So this
Okay.
allows me to use a different model. So, anyways, I was talking about Open Router. Coming back to this, previously before I discovered Open Router, I used to have something called My LLM Council, where if I wanted like some detailed information, I would ask the same question to every single chat interface that I was aware of. ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, Mistral, bunch of others, right? Now what I do is I come here and I just ask that question. Let's say, what's a question that we can ask? We can ask the same question which we asked, difference between pro and prebiotics. What's the difference between probiotics and prebiotics? Okay. And now it has asked the question to these three models, and I could have like just, I mean, it hasn't asked it yet. Now it has, and I could have just like added as many more models as I want, right? And I can look at what these three models. Now I can like do a comparison and say, okay, this Gemini thinks it's this, Claude thinks GPT-5 OpenAI basically thinks it's this, and probably Claude 4.5 thinks it's this, right? So when I have something complicated, I can ask the question to as many models as I want and get an answer, which is very valuable.
Right. And can you also like ask, let's say, larger, let's say, questions with more tokens? And let's say, is there a limit on
Yeah,
tokens?
no, I'm paying Open Router. I can do whatever I want.
Acha, okay, got it. Okay. So it's on the paid version, there is no like limit on tokens or searches.
No, no, nothing. In fact, that's something that again I wanted to talk about. So these are the number of models that Open Router gives, and there are lots. Almost every model that's available out there is available to you on Open Router. You can use it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can like sort it in different ways. And like for example, see this. So this is a costing sort, right? From the cheapest to the whatever. Like let's sort it from here. Okay, pricing low to high. If you wanted to do that.
Okay.
Um, top
And that's
weekly.
the
Top
cost
weekly
by
is a
the way,
nice way to say.
1 million tokens, right? So that's huge, I think. This token
Yeah.
window khatam hote, it will take so much time. So
No, no. This is output and input of tokens.
oh,
This is the
it's
token window.
right. But still, it's a decent cost that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. So like look at how expensive Sonnet is. Sonnet is
Hmm.
really expensive, right? As
Yeah,
compared to say Grok Code Fast,
true.
right? So it's a huge difference. So why would I use Sonnet if I could use Grok Code Fast?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that you should like. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is I could look at latency, right? So I could see, okay, I can expect 108 tokens per second output, which is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's still not very, very fast. So if I use Cerberus, which I was using on LLM, that gives me 1,000 plus tokens per second, right?
Okay.
So sometimes you care about latency, sometimes you want things to come fast, and
Yeah.
that's where like this really matters. Latency and
I
throughput
think this
are
is a
like
good
important
exercise
things.
for a lot of engineers who are, let's say, working in some real world use cases, solving, let's say, larger uh, problems where they have a lot of incoming requests coming in, right? So I think it can be a good
Yeah.
comparison for them to actually look at how can they optimize cost,
Yes, absolutely. You should look at how can you optimize cost, how can you optimize um,
performance.
performance. Everything matters at that stage. So okay, let's go
Sure.
here. Let's see what this is. So look at this. It gave me some other questions, right? So it's still not done with the brainstorming. We are going to
Mm-hmm.
like stop this now because of time limits. But if you can see what it is doing, it said, okay, cool. I took your input. Okay, I have to scroll along. This is my problem with Cloud Code. It talks too much. So okay. uh, all the way up somewhere. It's saying, okay, give me answers for all of these. What do you prefer? Do you prefer option A, option B, option C, right? So it's saying all of these things for me. Now I can go through it and I can decide what style do I prefer, why, what are the pros and cons of using a certain style, and things like that. So I get to learn a lot. I get to think through what is in my head. Um, it's like a partner that I'm like brainstorming with
True.
to decide what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of doing this kind of thing with Cloud Code. And then the actual implementation I would prefer to do with
Yeah.
Header or with
But
something
let's
else.
say once you implement this, no Vedang, we can actually put up a Git repo along with when you sort of publish it, right? We can
Sure,
also put it on a podcast. So for people who want to actually go and check out, they can do that.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I can do that.
Yeah.
All
But
right, cool. I think
actually very interesting, like from a standpoint of like there is so much to be explored right now. Even for engineers, I know for a lot of people, it will be super helpful in a way that how can they think of different aspects, like in their own work. So thanks for doing it. It was pretty
At least for
extensive.
folks who are starting, right? तो उनको एक I think they get one level of clarity. Like everybody is using LLM, but how do you rightly use it, and how do you
yeah.
kind of create use cases around it?
Yeah.
Before we close, I just wanted to show in the background this guy finally got done. So it read that PDF and it told me, okay, this is the PDF that you guys have sent me. And now I can like share my plan with it. I would have shared my plan with it and said, what do you think? Does this cover everything that, or
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
should I change my approach?
Hmm.
And then it would have, helped me do some brainstorming. So this is something that you can do when you set up your MCP servers to work.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
But again, Vedant, thanks for doing it. It was super interesting, and hopefully we'll have this episode out very soon. And
thank you.
from there we will sort of keep continuing, like bring out such more use cases for people to just be curious about. I think one takeaway from this conversation will be just to be curious and try out different models and different outputs to exactly see what sort of fits your use case, right? Because
Yeah,
there is no right or wrong answer in this world, as
there's
we
nothing.
know.
It's a
Yeah.
And
tool. Yeah. So if, for example, to the programmers who are watching this, if somebody taught you linters and formatters, and then you said, wow, what a great tool. I'm going to use linters and formatters everywhere. It's like
mm,
that. So when you learn a new tool, you should figure out where to use it, how to do it, and what value it adds to your workflow.
mhm.
Um, I don't think I have said anything which would be new to an experienced AI assisted coding person. I think they would
Mhm.
already be using all of these tricks and
But
tips that we
Vedant, I
covered.
think one of the thing with also is that a lot of people are currently on Cursor because of the lot of companies have bought Cursor subscriptions,
Yeah,
and post that they have stopped exploring. Okay, what's beyond Cursor now? So I think this can actually
well,
be helpful to those people who want to
yeah,
explore outside of Cursor now
yeah. They should
because
This
explore outside
cursor
of
is
Cursor.
crazy costly. Like कोई लिमिट नहीं है उसके कॉस्ट का, आई
I think
थिंक.
Cursor has done a good job of branding and selling it to everyone. So I think
No,
kudos to them.
Cursor has a killer feature called fill in the middle, which is the tab feature, right? So tab is in editor speak, it's called fill in the middle, and that's a really powerful feature. And that's a feature that I miss. Like it's the thing that I don't have in Emacs, and I wish I had it. And it truly is a superpower that Cursor users have. So hats off to them for like going and using Cursor and building it that well. Um, but yeah, I mean, you should definitely use Cursor, but you shouldn't limit your thinking to just tap tap tap.
Hmm.
Think about everything that you can do with it. It's a whole new world out there. So let's go exploring.
Yeah. But thanks for doing it, Vedant.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
we'll see you then.